guest out here for
Oh, you didn't even tell him to put a break.
Where do people watch?
Huh?
Where do people watch?
You can go at the ampersand sign, the Stand Show on Facebook. Yeah, I think it's up to 181, 185, I think. Last time I checked a little bit ago. And one guy commented from Vegas saying, I gotta go check that out. The other one.
Hold on, just trying to find it here. Should be close enough. Last time I got like the fit of day perfectly. There we go.
Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on the stand tonight on this 9th of February 2017. We have a special guest, Barry, from Axe Monkeys, where we were at yesterday. But before we start interviewing him and get into the awesome news that's happened with us last week, I just want to say thank you so much for the NFL for being done. The Super Bowl is over with. We don't have to worry about that garbage no more. The whole CIA operative directed football to distract us from what's really going on in the world. So glad that's over with. So Barry, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
It's good to be here, guys.
We had an awesome time yesterday. I mean, I think we might have overstayed our welcome, but I mean, what an experience, man! It's something totally different. It required no brass. You know, you get from a typical shooting range. It required you have to bring a heavy weapon in or anything else like that. Just a really simple hatchet, you know, that you guys already supply. You know.
Yeah, it's good, clean fun. You can come down with the whole family and enjoy yourself. It's not real expensive. It's a good time. Everybody has fun. It's not hard. We've had people as young as 7 throw and as old as 93 so far.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Yeah, when we were there, I mean, I think out of everybody who was there, I think George had the most awesomest experience, if that's even a word, you know?
It was quite fun. When I first got started, I couldn't get the axe to hit the ground. And then by the end, I was doing all those little underhanded, double-handed things. And it was an absolute blast. It's well worth it. Just go down and do it. You won't have more fun in Vegas I loved it. It was like bowling and the rifle range all mixed into one. It was it's good for kids. I had a blast. I have an absolute blast. Like I'm already planning to go with my kids and
yeah, same here as well. So
you know, because it was just once you get that first one to hit the wood and it sinks, that sound
makes that noise. Yeah,
it is just the coolest thing. You're just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. It was.
It's that primitive instinct, that primal instinct, that our ancestors had for so long. Just using that thing.
Well, you think about it. It's an edged weapon. You have to throw it, and it has to hit the target just right. It has to stick. I mean, it's all these things. It's a little bit of, I don't know. It's almost like figure skating, and because it takes form. You just can't fling it as hard as you. In the movies, they make it look like you just throw it and it just goes. Spins 60 times and hits the guy in the forehead or something, but no, it's a little bit of form. It's a little bit of finesse, and it was an absolute treat. I'm going to put one up in my living room.
All right. I'll sell you a log, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I need, a log and a hatchet.
It really is a game of precision, not power. Women actually tend to do a lot better than men at it, because men come and huck as hard as they can. It's not about that. It's a literal, just a nice lob. Hatchet does one rotation and 15 feet hits the target.
Yeah, it's an absolute hoot. I haven't had that much fun in a long, long time. In an enclosed space that wasn't involved explosives or guns or something.
Right.
I mean, it was just a treat. It was more than I expected. I was actually.
I personally like to throw with the power though.
Yeah, you do.
Just wing it.
Well, we got 13,000 square feet of axe throwing pleasure happening down there. We got a couple party rooms. We got a really nice setup down there.
And when's your official grand opening?
Grand opening, I believe, is going to be March 8th.
Right.
But we are open now. So we've got 45 axe throwing lanes, so.
Where can they check you out at? Where are you guys located?
3525 East Post Road, Suite
All right.
110.
Basically, right there by the airport, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sunset Park, down in that area.
Pecos and Post.
Yes. Yeah, you have a really nice facility there. I see great potential. I think everyone should go down. If I was 14 and my parents held my birthday party there, it'd be something I would remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, we cater in food too. We cater in pizza or subs for the party rooms if everybody wants. And
Yeah, it was an absolute hoot. I was curious, where do you, because we live here in the desert, where do you get your logs from?
I have a connection in the Sequoia National Forest up in California.
Oh, okay.
There's not a lot of trees in Nevada.
No, that's a real problem if you're trying to.
Unless you're
throw
trying
an
to chop down Joshua cheese, but yeah.
Actually, they're 2 fibers. You can't get them to stick. They don't burn well either.
We have
Right.
some pretty big logs there, don't we?
Yeah, they were huge. I was kind of when I was looking, I was like, okay, this is quite a feat just to get these logs up here so that we can throw axes at them. So you've obviously put a lot of work into it. I think it's good. Good primitive fun without any real danger. You know, which,
There is a little aspect of danger, so.
well, it is
you're
axes.
throwing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I know with this power throw, but
I mean, you always will get the person who throws the bowling ball backwards. So, I mean, there will be that occasional axe being thrown backwards.
yeah, but
Darwin tends to get rid of those people.
Yeah.
right, exactly. I mean, like George said, I'm definitely going to take my son. He's 8 years old. And so I can only imagine him, when I take him, man, that's just going to be a blast. And then you also, Keith was saying, he's not here today, but Keith was saying that you're also going to get like the larger axes, correct? Instead of more like the hatchets?
Yeah, if you're an experienced thrower, we do have a big double-headed axe you can throw. We don't let just anybody throw it.
Okay.
It's not fun.
It's big and heavy.
Because it's a
And-
big double-headed axe. I think that pretty much explains everything you need to know about what the safety things on
And
it.
if you don't throw it the right way, you can bust a handle on it first time, and
Wow, really?
that happens.
Now, if someone had throwing knives, I mean, I'm sure people out there have some. Can they bring in their own throwing implements?
Throwing knives or ninja stars or
Yeah,
other.
we're going to have a knife lane set up. We just have to get some plexiglass to cover the chain link for
Oh,
safety
okay.
factor.
Oh yeah, because a knife could go through the chain link. Yeah.
I'm big on safety. I'm the safety guru there, so.
Okay.
Safety.
We're throwing axes.
We-
It can't be safe.
I do the design build-out, so our design build-out is what I consider the Cadillac. I've been to a lot of the other places, and they're not as nice. We're the nicest one, or the largest one, the nicest one in North America. We're the only ones that use, Axe Monkeys are the only ones that use actual log targets.
Oh, what do the other places use?
2x6 is screwed to the wall
Oh, really?
with a circle drawn on them.
Well, that sounds like it would be even harder to get the axe to stick because of the direction of the grain. Just be, I would think.
I like ours.
Yeah. Oh, yours nice woodsy feel.
Well, it's real wood, and you guys soak it, correct? In order for the
Keep the wood
blade.
wet, yeah, it lasts a little longer. It doesn't chip up as bad.
All right, cool, man. I mean, like I said, there's no words to describe the feeling that you get. I mean, it's just throw after throw, and we were there for 2 hours, I think. And
Yeah, Keith had to chase us out.
Yeah.
We were really overstaying our welcome, and we can't be held responsible, or you can't blame us for it, because it is absolutely the biggest treat I've had in a long time. I was grinning from ear to ear the rest of the day.
I never hold people having fun against anybody. That's
Yeah, once you get the throw down, and it's funny, as soon as you let go of it, you can feel it. You know it's going to stick, or you know it's not going to.
Right, exactly. So during the grand opening, what can we expect?
We're going to have, it's going to be a nice red carpet event. We're going to have some celebrities down there and make everybody feel good. We got a banana buffet. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Banana
What's
buffet.
a banana buffet? I'm interested, but I just don't know
Is
what
it a Canadian thing?
No. Well, we're Axe Monkey, so it's
Oh,
a banana buffet. We'll probably have banana cream pie and banana splits and
even more reason to show up.
bananas and chocolate. And
Anything that's
Pretty cool.
bananas.
I haven't worked on the menu yet, sorry.
Oh no, you're off to a good start. It's bananas and chocolate and whipped cream. How can you go wrong?
I know, right?
So, but it was an absolute blast. Like I said, I want to go again. I would go right now, but we're all working. So
Right, exactly. And it seems like nobody can get time off to do what they really want. I mean, I'm glad we got together and you welcomed us into your cool place, man.
So I have one question for you. Where did you get the idea of doing an axe throwing range?
One of my partners in Canada went to Eastern Canada, and it was big out there. They had some leagues going and stuff, and he brought it back to Alberta and opened one in Alberta, and he's subsequently sold that one and partnered with us guys and opened an Axe Monkeys in Kelowna, British Columbia, and then this one down in Vegas.
I think it's a fantastic idea. Like I said, I've been grinning from ear to ear. I literally, I would put one up in my living room if I thought I could get away with it.
Awesome.
So
yeah, it sounds like a very unique kind of thing to do. I mean, for me, it's 10 times better than go-kart racing. That's for sure. I mean, you pay $50 to drive like 3 or 4 laps on the go-kart thing, and you're done.
Well,
it is value engineered. It's $40 for 2 hours, or $25 for an hour. We prefer you try the 2 hours the first time because all the safety spiel and the instructions and learning how to throw the axe. Once you've thrown it, then you come in for an hour, definitely. But definitely come down for an hour if that's all you got. You mentioned time. Getting time off work. We're open 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. So lots of, trying to work around everybody's schedules. Anytime you can get in to come in.
Right. I mean, that's awesome. Then I didn't know it was 2 a.m.
Well, you say you're going to have leagues. How will the leagues operate, and what kind of?
We're still hashing out the details on the leagues, but basically, you can either come in singly or in a group of people every week, and you throw X amount of axes. I think it's going to be 10 to 15. You get a score, and at the end of the 8 weeks, the guy with the highest score wins. So we'll have a trophy or prizes and giveaways and stuff like that.
Okay, so after remembering how the target looks, how would you score? Because there were red and not red areas and a bullseye and all that.
The bullseye's 5, the next red line's 3, and the outside red line's 1, and the 2 non-painted sections in between are 4 and 2.
So it's the bullseye's where you want to go.
Yeah, and it's regulation
so.
Well, no, I mean,
regulation targets.
Because in darts, there's sometimes you have to hit certain areas. Which I'm terrible at darts, so I don't really know how it works. But there are times when you don't want to hit the bullseye.
There's like a triple and a double.
Yeah, triple. I was just curious if that would be the case. But
it's different scoring for different games. You can make up any game you want. You can play 21 down, or you start at 21 and have to get 0. And so if you're down to 1, you have to hit the 1.
I see. Yeah, we played horse while we were there. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
We were just trying to hit the target at first.
Right.
I think Shane threw for about 10 minutes and didn't even get it to stick on the target at one point.
But the funny thing is, when we were right after our little safety thing, I threw like 5 and nothing. All I hit was the ground, and then before I got my first stick, and then Lance went up and he did it in 2, and then Shane walked up and threw it the first time and just clunk. And then he went back and he had the worst luck for like 20 minutes after that.
It's like I got lucky the first time, but I did discover that I am a left-handed thrower when it comes to
which I find amazing.
hatchets.
Since you're right-handed.
It is pretty crazy, but it just feels a lot more natural for me for whatever crazy reason.
Did you guys try the double-handed throw?
So
underhanded throw?
So we do have a video. I think we should
I have
post
it
it.
on video.
I think we should really post this to our page. So George, double underhanded throw.
Yep.
I mean, and not once but twice, I think, right?
Oh, several times. Well, I did it twice in a row for the
Yeah,
camera,
that's
and I was
right.
just like, okay, I'm gonna stop there because you'll just videotape me missing with both of them eventually. Yep.
and then there's an under-over.
I tried
One up,
that.
one over.
I don't. That's that pat your hand, rub your pat your head, rub your stomach kind of thing. Can't do it. Couldn't do it. I was like,
look at the face of excitement.
yeah,
on
I
this.
was grinning from ear to ear. It was pretty
Right.
funny.
So
It was the second time
it
you
was-
threw it.
for not throwing a hatch or axe, ever, I think, and then going to I say that skill set.
Well, it in a weird way, it kind of reminded me of that form you have to have when you're bowling. When you have to just let it go just right. The finesse, yeah, and I can see where it being very zen. If you were having a bad day and you just
You're not gonna
wanted to go
stick
and just go to the indoor axe throwing range and just throw for an hour, and when you leave there, you don't need therapy.
Right.
That'll help everything. But I actually have to say that was the most fun I've had in it in a long, long time. It was an absolute treat. I recommend everybody go. Everybody.
So it's like, why were you in California for so long? Like, you've opened up your doors here in Vegas and done so much more.
Well, they don't have axe throwing in California. They don't have a lot of things. I didn't even like going to the ranges there. So,
I wouldn't imagine what kind of rules they have in
a lot.
California. So,
But I recommend it. It was an absolute hoot. I'm going to go again. I've just got to figure out when and where, and I don't care if nobody else wants to go. I'll go by myself.
Yeah.
Awesome. Come on down to Axe Monkeys and show us your axe.
so and you could bring your own custom axes, correct?
Correct, as long as they're checked out by staff and make sure they're not too heavy or they're not broken, or you don't get upset if you break them. The wood is hard, right? So a lot of custom, beautiful-looking axes don't have heavy enough handles to.
They're made for looks, not for...
Yes. So we just got to check them out, make sure they're a good enough axe to hit the target.
Something that somebody made in wood shop when they were, junior high.
And not too sharp. If they're too sharp, they cut the rubber in front of the stands and stuff.
Which you've already experienced.
Yeah.
So what other plans do you have for the range? Anything you're thinking in advance that we can kind of sneak preview to the public?
No, we got some charity events planned. We work a lot with charities and stuff, and kids groups, Cub Scouts are coming down, and yeah, we're just fresh open. We just opened on the 2nd of February, so
Right.
working out the details.
No, that's good. It is like I said, it's an absolute treat. I've been thinking about it ever since.
Come on, come on. We got lots of room. Every lane can handle up to 15, 20 people, so we got 22 and a half lanes.
Wow.
22 and a half?
22 and a half. Last one's a single lane.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is it just a
Kind of-
shorter lane?
It is, and it's just a single target for maybe kids or practicing or just not as far to throw and stuff.
I hear you. Okay.
Well, I have to say I can add that to my list of things I can do now.
Right.
I can throw an axe.
And it's not just for, I think, recreational purposes, but also, if you're ever the survivalist or the prepper or whatever. I mean, it's a good. I think it's a good knowledge to know.
As I had a friend say when I told him about it, I said, "Now I know how to throw an axe," and he says, "It's good to know."
It really
it's
is.
good to know.
I have another question for you. So you already got the ranges, or you got the axe throwing, and the wood targets. Are they good enough for like arrows to go into them as well?
No, I think they're too hard for an arrow. It would break your shaft on your arrow.
Okay.
Because they look like pretty good wood. I mean, it was pretty. Well, they were like
Yeah,
you
but
said, 22 inches thick. And
Yeah, it's solid though. Like an arrow usually has to go into something softer
Like
or
a
break.
hay bale
like
or
hail
something.
bales, yeah.
I've been talking to the firemen lots. They all work with an axe sometimes. I said, "Hey, you guys need to come down. Try some
Right.
axe throwing." They're
Right.
like, "Yeah, the axe doesn't ever leave our hand," he says.
Well, you could start a league where it's the guys from all these wood cutting lots that sell firewood. You just have them compete against each other.
Firemen against policemen, against highway
There you
patrol,
go.
against
Oh, well.
marshals.
I think the
throws
firemen might have a slight
Slight
advantage.
edge using axes, but
Not that much. It's throwing, so.
Not if the other guys come down and practice.
There you go.
Exactly. Get them down there a couple times a week.
So I think we should make a league. The stand league. Because I think
not a league, a team.
a team or whatever. Because I'm really pumped. I may not show as much as George, but I think that was a really awesome experience. So look for us when those leagues come up.
We got a special on right now, February 8th to the 10th. If you print the ad off Facebook, share us on Facebook, Axe Monkeys Las Vegas. I believe it's buy 1 hour, get an hour free.
That's
It's our
awesome,
Valentine's
man.
special.
Sounds
That
good.
is awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll never look at Home Depot the same when I walk down that aisle. It's changed for me forever.
It'll be, how can I throw this?
And women do a lot better than men at it. So, ladies, if you're competitive and want to beat your man at something, bring him axe
You ever
throwing.
wanted to beat your husband with an axe? Now you can beat him with an axe.
Legally,
Yes.
and no one gets hurt.
And no one gets hurt. You guys can go home. I can see where it actually would work out.
You can
A lot of
guarantee that.
No comment. And I believe on Valentine's Day we're going to have a Axe Your Ex event where you can bring down a picture of your ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, and put it on the target, throw an axe
log
on
on it. That's very interesting, man. I like that. I like that idea.
No comment.
See how many people come down for that one.
I'm thinking we're going to be packed.
It could be a very busy day. This is Vegas. This is the land of the exes.
They're the highest marriage and divorce rate. So
And I don't think it's coincidence. There is an X in the word axe.
There you go. Our occupancy is 292, so we can fit a lot of X's in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not all mine live in Texas.
Well, everyone's got one.
All right. So I encourage everybody again to go out to Axe Monkeys on Pecos and Post, and I mean just have a blast.
Just have fun. Like I said, it's the most fun I've had in a long time. So
Never a dull moment.
Oh, I like that. The way you worked that in. That was good.
My partner Anthony, that's his saying. Never a dull moment.
All right. Well, Barry, I really appreciate you coming out and joining us on the stand, taking the stand for liberty. And
He's staying.
you are staying? Or
I'll hang around for a bit.
Okay. Well, never mind. I thought you were taking off.
I haven't been up on your U.S. politics for a while. I want to catch up.
Okay.
He just wants to catch up on.
All right. So that was pretty much Axe Monkeys. So much.
Show us your axe.
It's
having them to invite us out into the range.
Well, again, I want to thank you guys for having us down. That was
Right.
that was
Absolutely.
an absolute hoot. It was too
Enjoyed
much fun.
having you in. You guys are a lot of fun and did some good interview with us. So
I appreciate it.
Do you want to open up the lines?
Yeah. Go ahead and open up the lines.
All right. So if anyone wants to talk about Axe Monkeys and ask him some questions, this is the owner. His name is Barry.
one of the owners.
One of the owners. The number to call us is 702-650-5588. I'll say that one more time. 702-650-5588. All right, so go ahead, Shane.
All right, so we got a lot of so much stuff the last week. I mean, you have the obviously what just took place hours ago is the Ninth Circuit court ruling, pretty much overturning Trump's immigration policy. So, what do you guys think about it? I mean, what a direct defiance of law. I would think of the president.
They focused, as far as I can tell, they focused on the wrong aspect of it. They're saying it. I believe they said it doesn't give due process and it would hurt the state of Washington because they couldn't take in revenue from these foreign students that are no longer allowed to come in. That's where they showed their harm. But everyone is forgetting that this is a completely legal ban.
Right.
It's under the Constitution. We have the number here somewhere what it is.
Okay.
But it's been enacted by all the presidents of late. Reagan, first George Bush, Clinton, Obama. Obama had been enacted
19 countries.
Yeah, but he enacted the same type of ban like 12 times during his terms. So it's only seems to bother the left that Trump has done it.
Right.
And I mean, I guess if he didn't say a word and just did it, maybe it wouldn't have been bad. But I mean, the left has lost its mind. It doesn't matter what he does; they're going to protest and riot like they did in Berkeley last week.
So go ahead and read the code.
Yeah, here's the code. It's U.S. Code 1182. Inadmissible aliens. The suspension of entry or imposition of restrictions by the president. Whenever the president finds that the entry of any alien or any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may, by proclamation and for such period he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he deems to be appropriate.
So why hasn't any lawyer gone up to the courts with this?
I don't know why they missed because they're all arguing due process, that they're saying that these alien unregistered
illegal aliens,
not illegal, even legal ones,
right,
around the world should be given the constitutional right to travel freely to this country, but they're not citizens. They don't. The Constitution does not go past the borders. It's for citizens only.
Right.
I think
we're not global police yet. Last time I checked.
Well, I mean, it doesn't apply to people in other countries. If we deem them dangerous, undesirable, I mean, you can't just show up here for any old reason. You got to have a reason to come here, and you have to show that you are a functioning member of a society. And this ban is not an illegal thing, and they didn't really focus on that aspect. They focused on, and again, it only just happened this afternoon, so I'm not quite up on it because I didn't get a chance to sit down and do a lot of research on it. but it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and it's when it gets there.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
That's where he's taking it.
Yeah, and even if they do stop it, he'll just write it again. I mean, it's within his constitutional powers to write this law.
He's not going above and beyond. He's not trying to change the law. He's just, what he's been doing all this time is rediscovering the law and enforcing it. You know?
What he said last week, he's not making any new laws. He's just enforcing the existing ones.
Exactly.
Well, Obama made stuff up as he went along. And he just said, I'm going to do this. He said, I'm not, and his quote is, if Congress won't act, I will.
Yeah.
Well, the separation of powers, he's not allowed to act without Congress on some things.
On some things, but then again, Congress did give up the power, I believe, during his term in the 6th year of his term, I believe, somewhere along that line.
That's when he lost his seats. So I mean, like, it was a Republican House at that point.
Right.
Well, they gave up their ability to defy the president when he would do things that they disagreed with, and they said nothing. They relinquished their power, if not by just letting him do it. When they stopped challenging, exactly. I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it, but yeah, when they stopped challenging what Obama did, they basically said, "Sure, whatever you can think of, go ahead."
Just write it.
So what happened this time is we now have a conservative or a Republican president in office, and he's just following the guidelines of the Constitution, and the left has lost their mind. Yeah. They're like, that's not right. You can't do that. But it is spelled out in our founding documents.
Right.
So it's this, again, I go back to what I've always said. If it wasn't for double standards, liberals wouldn't have any standards at all. So they just do as I do, do as I say, not as I do.
Right, exactly. Barry, I mean, for Canadians, how is it?
What's it like to watch this circus?
Right.
Well, I'm not a liberal, so for me it is kind of a circus, but it's
like
weird
the riots
just to see
and
this stuff.
Right.
Like they're rioting over no violence and they're beating up people, and I'm like, how does that make any sense? Well, we're about a 50-50 split in Canada. 50% of the people like Trump, 50 don't. Probably more don't like him, but they tolerate him. And I mean, I'm willing to see what he'll do. I'd love to see what he's going to do for this country. I'm not going to call him names and tell him he's a horrible person. Hey, let's see what he can do. I don't think he's going to hurt anything.
Right. You make anything worse than what it is.
Everyone's acting like he's going to burn down the world, start World War III.
Yeah, it's
right.
Strange. It's just I don't know. I hate to say anything, but the kids nowadays, they just don't get it. They don't have the work ethic, and our countries are going down.
Right. Well, like we've been saying on the show for a while, it's the morals and values I think are not being instilled on the kids, and then especially when they go to the schools and stuff, they certainly don't help. You know, is the schools the same sort of way I believe in here in the U.S. or?
Yeah, I mean, the kids in Canada want to know what they can take in college to be the boss. They want to get out of school and be the boss. You know, they don't want to start at the bottom and work their way up like we did. Like my parents were very strict with me, and
right.
You know, I had a good work ethic, and I worked my whole life. I worked my way up. And nowadays, kids, you know, I was a foreman on a construction site, and they sent a kid out to see me one day, and he jumped in the truck, and I'm giving him the safety spiel, and the first thing, what do I got to take in school to get your job?
Wow.
Like, nothing. I quit. He jumped out of the truck and he left, and I'm like, what the heck?
What just happened?
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Kids are entitled nowadays.
Well, it's a snowflake generation. You know, everyone is special and unique and different. And so when they fall down from the sky, you know, they come down so gently and can't be touched. Or so fragile. You know, so. You know, I don't mean to really bash, you know, the new millennials that are coming up and stuff like that, but I mean, come on, man, it's just so frustrating. You know, I know it frustrates the heck out of you, George, about the Berkeley punks, you know, just rioting and just smashing up their own university.
Well, it's funny, they claim to be the anti-fascist movement, but
they're the fascists.
But they're the fascist
movement. You look at their flag. Look at their little flag. It almost duplicates the Nazi regime flag, you know?
Well, you know, you mentioned them being snowflakes, and I had this little thing I found by Corinne Corcoran. It's off Heat Street. I found this, and I found it a little bit humorous, and everyone will identify with it, and it basically lines out the protester. It says an overwhelming number of the violent anti-fascist protesters still live with their mom, according to the study. Research found that 92% of those suspected of violent crimes at left-leaning demonstrations still share their home with their parents. Well, this doesn't come to a surprise to any of us. The study was carried out with data from Germany and published in the German tabloid BILD. Who knows how to pronounce it. So results may vary compared to those of Western activists. Nonetheless, the findings ring true. 84% are male. From what we've seen on TV, that seems pretty accurate.
Right.
72% are aged 18 to 29. Again, anecdotal evidence, but it confirms it. We've all seen it on TV. 90% are single. And 34% are unemployed. And that, to me, I think is the key.
Right.
They got nothing else to do.
I mean, they don't have to leave home or anything else like that. They got everything right there for them. You know, it's like I don't have to go outside the house. I don't have to go anywhere else. I got everything right at home, man. You know.
And the way makes my dinner.
Yeah.
I play Xbox.
When I get home from the riot, my bed will be made and my laundry will be folded.
And there'll be a nice sandwich on the table for me. You
but
know?
the way this writer, spelled it out, I wanted to share it because I found it humorously. It bothered me, but it was still funny. Violent protests hit the headlines last week when the so-called anti-fascist hijacked protests against Milo. Some of you may know who Milo is, some of you may not.
Say his last name.
Yiannopoulos. Yeah, I can. If you ask me to say it, I can. But if I, he's the gentleman. He's the one of the conservative editors for Breitbart. He goes around speaking at colleges. I've watched his videos now that I kind of know who he is. He's humorous. He's funny. He's intelligent. And he's right.
And he's effective.
He's very effective. That's why they hate him so much. But they call him names like. They call him a racist. They call him a misogynist. They call him just anything you can think of, a homophobe. Yet he's a gay man who's as he said, his boyfriends are black, so he can't be a racist. He's gay. I don't know how he's misogynist. Someone needs to explain that one to me. And whether you agree with his lifestyle or not, he is spot on with all of his analysis of the people that he discusses. He discusses the culture war that we're in the middle, where the Muslim culture is trying to come in and kind of usurp our culture through just the slow immigration thing.
Bullying. It's really bullying on a certain degree. You know?
Remember when I read that thing back about how they bully you, and then if they win through bullying, they win. But if you call them on it, then they're a victim.
They're a victim, right?
Yeah,
and then they play the whole victim card. And just like with this whole immigration ban, you know, the media and everybody else says it's a Muslim ban, you know, and it's just so false. And the mainstream media and everything else is just going hardcore with this, you know. They just can't stop
and Trump is calling out the media as well.
Right. And he should, you know, and everybody wants to demonize him. How dare you go after the media, you know? Never a president has done it.
He just
well, then again,
fake.
never has, you know, the media has attacked the presidency this way, or any president this way, you know?
So, question for you: media in Canada, what would you deem it?
It's just as bad as down here. Like Trump got in on he just said Trudeau, pardon me, not Trump, got in on, change. We want change. But
he went off Obama's ticket.
Obama's rhetoric right there.
Right.
Yeah.
They wanted change. And I mean, our government was doing very well up there. We dug ourselves out of debt from the last Liberal government and had a surplus, and Trudeau got in, and now I think we're $10 billion in debt in a year.
That's insane, man.
You know, like they're looking at $30 billion. It's
only billion, though. You haven't touched the other word yet.
No, not the T, not the trillions, you know?
We've only got a tenth of your population. There's 350 million people in Canada, 300.
We print out like 10 billion in a day. So, I mean, like...
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess by ratio, I mean, if they have the smaller population and their debt it's probably comparable. You know,
right.
Might even be more.
Yeah.
You know,
so
I mean,
what is the average? What is the population in Canada?
Average, if you know the top of your head.
Population in Canada? I'm not sure. I think we're at 35 million. You guys are about 350 million. Yeah, we're a tenth of you guys.
It's about 10. So our debt is, I think we hit almost 22 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
I think is where our debt is at.
With a T.
T. Lots of zeros.
Yeah, more zeros than...
I come from Alberta. We used to have the richest province in Canada. We didn't owe anybody any money. All the other provinces owed us money, and Trudeau come in and
scooped it all up.
Yeah.
Did he redistribute the wealth, did he?
Well, and then the NDP. The kids voted the NDP in a couple of years ago. havoc and shutting down the oil sands. They're a new Democrat Party, they call themselves. They're left. And they think the world runs on rainbow fluff and unicorn farts, I guess. They've been shutting they're hard against the oil fields, and they've been shutting down oil and stuff like that. There's hundreds of thousands of people in
So they're
Alberta.
like tree huggers.
Kinda, yeah.
The one thing I've never understood is they always want to shut down the oil, but do they not understand that our entire world economy is based on oil?
Yeah.
The
They all
entire
want
world runs on
solar
oil.
and wind, and it's great if the wind blows, but the day
Right.
the wind doesn't blow, what do we do?
Everyone's power's off.
You know, and they all drive to their, in cars, but they don't want us to drive cars.
Well, the
Well,
funny thing is,
that's what Obama said in Africa, 2 years ago now. He did pretty much, you can't have air conditioning, you can't have a vehicle, and it's
that's
the
pretty
whole.
cool talk to tell to a guy in Africa you can't have air conditioning. I mean, that's if they're going to build an industry, the first one I would build would be the air conditioning industry in Africa.
Hey, but they want us poor. They want us on that third world level. Right now they're trying to bring down the first world, us, Canada. We're pretty much the hardest ones to really take down, and that's what we're really trying to hit. I'm pretty sure immigration is, about the same over there with the
not
Muslims,
worse.
if not worse.
Trudeau's
Right?
letting in a bunch of the Syrians and stuff,
Right.
and saying we all want them. Well, nobody wants them.
Well, and that goes back to what he said. About 2-3 weeks now, when the attack happened, he's like, "Oh, send us your refugees." Hours later, what happens, man? You guys get attacked. So how ironic is that?
It's I'm anti-liberal because I live in an oil province, and we give in Canada we have equalization payments.
I
So
mean, you look like a oil rigger guy. I mean, you
I worked in
built like a bear.
rigs when I was younger.
let's see, oil rig axes. Yeah, you're a Western Canadian. That's without a doubt.
All of us partners are all hardworking guys, heavy-duty mechanics. One owns a hydraulic shop. I worked in construction. Another guy's like an engineer in construction. Like we're all working. None of us are millionaires.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, to shut down the oil and it's ridiculous. They won't build a pipeline across Canada
Right.
to get our oil to the east to get it out to market. But
Sounds like
because
the same
oil's
problem
bad,
we're having.
oil's bad. But yet they buy it from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Gallons.
That people are getting
Boatloads,
killed over. And
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous.
I buy the
Ours is
barrel.
the safest, cleanest oil. And I've got some American friends, and they harass me about the oil sands. Oh, the oil sands, it's so dirty, it's so dirty.
Well, it's
It's
oil
the
and
cleanest
coal. And
oil.
coal. Coal's the same way over here. They got it down to where it burns so cleanly that it really doesn't even put out emissions to harm the environment. And yet, they're shutting down the factories over here.
They shut down mostly all of them.
Right, exactly. But then they open them up right on the other side of the border of Mexico, and just plumes of smoke, pouring out, because that's okay, because they're liberal and loving, and so the plumes of smoke just cross over and just ruin everything. China, you can't. They have
Can't
to.
see.
They can't see in China. You're
But
flying by
Canada's so
radar.
bad. You can see 14 miles in Canada, but we got, we put out like 0.023 of the world's emissions or something.
I think
but now we're having
Canada
carbon
is
tax.
mostly trees, if I'm not mistaken.
You have the carbon tax as well now?
Oh, the NDP and Liberals are bringing that in, yeah.
Oh, great.
Well, one of the things I heard
We have the
today,
boreal forest,
matter of
so-
fact, is that there was a gentleman claiming, and it still bears a little bit of investigation, that America or North America, probably America and Canada, we are sitting on the world's largest natural gas deposits. That we have enough natural gas for centuries, but they just won't let us get
Won't
to
let
it.
them drill.
Yeah, they won't let them get to it. And I don't know why. If we did that, we could end Saudi Arabia's
Tyranny.
influence
Yeah.
in the
Well, it basically
world.
ended its influence on the world.
Yeah, overnight.
But they keep the price of oil cheap because they ship it over here cheap, right?
I know last time I was at the pump, it
Somewhat.
didn't feel too cheap.
I
But
believe it's the Bakken oil field, which is halfway in Canada, halfway in the U.S. above, I think it's North Dakota, Saskatchewan, Manitoba there. I think they said there's enough oil in there, and they've never tapped it. They've drilled it. They know it's there.
Right.
They said, I believe there's enough oil there that would supply the U.S. and Canada until, I believe it was the year 2079.
That's
a
just
sweet,
that.
light crude that
Yes.
would take, I think they said 16 cents a barrel to refine. Like, just
Wow.
yeah, and you're right. The key is the light crude, which Saudi Arabia is not. They have they have to do more refining process for it, which is one of the
Put a lot
dirtiest
more
processes.
Additives and everything else in it.
Isn't there like a big field in Alaska that they've always talked about drilling into as well?
I believe that's off the coast.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. I know Alaska, of course, is big on oil, and it's so big that the oil companies give the citizens of Alaska, I think it's $2,000
$2,000
a year.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Anchorage is one of the most liberal bastions because I'll use the word, all the hippies went there because there was free money. You know, they love the free money, but they forget that they're getting the free money from oil. They're the thing they hate
They're
the
their
most.
enemy, you
Yeah.
know, they're sworn
So
enemy.
you know how I feel about hypocrisy. I mean, if you hate oil so much, quit taking that free money.
Right, exactly.
You know?
You know, give them back.
I don't hate oil. I'll take some free money.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't.
I don't like the cold, so
yeah, I'm not moving to Alaska.
Just get a summer home there.
I believe we have big coal mines in Alberta and BC as well, and all that coal goes to China. Like just right on the train, straight out
Right.
of Vancouver, onto a boat over to China.
Well, also China's harvesting all your precious minerals as well too, minerals and gold and metals and everything else.
I don't know if they're getting the gold, but I know we send all our scrap cars over there for them to make pipe on to send back to sell to us to make
Yeah.
pipelines.
Yeah, so it's very China's takeover is really happening. You know, and
It's slowly
everybody-
taking over U.S. as well.
Well,
Well,
they're never subject to the rules that the left puts down. They're never subject to the carbon emissions. They're never subject to the. I mean, let's face it. If anybody here thinks that China's got fair labor practices, is in a dream
sadly
world.
mistaken.
You know, I mean, they have to be the land of sweatshops. I'm sure there's a
Right.
little
Sweatshop
kids over
every
there.
quarter.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure there's little
it-
kids over there building stuff for us, and yet, you know, they're okay.
Right,
You know,
it's fine.
They get their 5 cents a day, if that.
If that,
I don't even want to try to imagine the horrors that go on over there.
We
it's
have a
bad.
pretty good world, life here in North America. Like
We really
unless
do.
you've traveled, you don't really see it. I went to Thailand, and a friend of mine from Canada was
yeah,
working over there,
Paul,
and
please explain this to our listeners and viewers because you know I was in the army, George was in the army. I traveled across the Asia, Middle East, Europe. So I've been around. So I experienced a lot of this. And I'm just so glad to hear someone else's point of view instead of just me ranting about it. So go ahead, Barry.
so a baht, you get 30 baht for a Canadian dollar. So 30 baht, stuff is 30 baht. We go for dinner, 30 baht for pad thai. To me, that's $1. To them, that's $30.
Right.
Everything's so much cheaper over there. And my buddy was working over there, building, I believe, their air exchanger units and shipping them over to Houston. And I asked him, I said, why do you build this stuff way over in Thailand? I said, like a welder in Canada used to be $60 an hour. Now I think they're $100 an hour for a welding truck. And he goes, I said, it's because it's $60 an hour. They're cheaper here. It's $6 an hour. He's like, dude, I don't think we pay him $6 a day. I
Wow.
was like, wow.
So
And they can live off that.
Right, exactly, and they're well off. Elaborate on the lifestyle over there. How in comparison to how we have it here.
Poor, very poor. Like, not everybody owns a vehicle. Everybody probably owns a bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
A million mopeds.
Right,
And
exactly.
the traffic and the smog and their rivers are polluted. Their oceans are polluted. Like, we rented jet skis to go out on around an island down by Pattaya, which is the sex trade capital of the world. Disgusting place. And
Right.
God, the garbage in the ocean. There's plastic and clothes, and they can't just stop and pull the plastic out from the impeller on the jet ski. And
Well,
Yeah,
they'll
just
just
not
tell you that's
clean.
our fault.
Yeah.
It's our fault.
it's funny,
Yeah.
you guys blame Canada for everything.
Well, Canada usually does everything.
And I've dated a lot of American girls, and they come up to see me in Canada. The first thing they say to me is, "Wow, your water's so clean.
Yeah.
Our rivers, you can see to the bottom. Our water's so clean." And yeah, Trudeau thinks we need a carbon tax.
Well, just humans are so horrible. That's why, and that's the whole basis behind it. We expel so much carbon dioxide, but if they stop chopping down the trees, maybe they could absorb some of that. I'm just, I'm not a tree hugger or anything, but there are some things that do need to change.
Well, the
with
largest
environment.
source of oxygen for this planet is you could strip every green thing off the land, and it wouldn't make a difference because the largest source of oxygen on this planet is the ocean.
Right.
It's like
So-
coral reefs or something.
Well,
like
it's
that.
everything in the ocean gives off. Every bit of plant life in the ocean gives off oxygen, and it
There's quite a bit of algae in there.
yeah. So I mean, if you think about it, it's 75% of the Earth's surface. So that the equivalent of 75% of the Earth is it's oxygen producing. So I mean, granted, do I want all the things that are green chopped down? No, I like trees. I like I think the rainforest, all that stuff should stick around. But let's not lose our minds and think that just because someone chops down a forest to make room for a cattle ranch to feed the locals
But
is
they
a
put
terrible
carbon taxes on cattle too. Give off too much methane.
Well, California actually did pass a tax on cows for their methane production.
We replant in Canada, so if they chop down 500 trees, they replant 1,500 trees, and they manage the forests. And we have the boreal forest as one of the largest forests in the world, and I believe we have a negative carbon footprint. We put out more oxygen than we put out carbon, so
that's insane.
Well, see, that was one of the things that because you might remember, 20 years ago, timber was the big enemy, big timber. They hated it. They always said, the timber companies just want to just excoriate the land and chop down all the trees and move on. But I've never known a business anywhere ever that said, let's use up all this resource that we could replant easily and then move somewhere else. They constantly chop, produce, and then plant.
Yep.
So
That's how you stay in business.
And it creates jobs. The tree planters create jobs.
I drove with my family to Canada about a year and a half ago. And as you drive through Montana, they do the same thing. And you can see where they cut. You can see the 1-year-olds,
Yes,
the 2-year-olds.
I've seen that too.
And then they just do.
They just kind of like a round robin rotation where they just
they leave the stumps and the new trees just grow around them, and then they'll come back 10 years later, cut them again. So
So that whole that fallacy that the lumber companies just want to strip the land of all trees. No, they don't, because then they wouldn't be lumber companies anymore.
Right, exactly.
So
So if you want to join us in the conversation and take the stand for liberty, 702-650-KKVV. Again, that's 702-650-5588. Join us in the conversation. We've talked a lot about Canada, some policies, just breaking it down. And so we got to fund this operation, folks. We don't shy away from donations. Also, if you're joining us on Facebook, please like, share, support us, because that's the only way we're going to grow. And just take the stand for liberty. And all the proceeds and donations that we get go straight right back into the program. So, again, just put that out there, and please support us. So we also got a couple other things before we part. I know Lance wanted to cover Trump's 100 days.
Just some of the first things he wants to do in his 100 days.
Right.
So one of them is to propose a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress.
Yeah,
so
we discussed that a while ago, and I think that's a great idea for, say, people like Nancy Pelosi, who thinks we're at war with Bush. Still, the Democrats are still at war with Bush. And then you have, I think, Waters coming right after her saying Russia's attacking Korea. She didn't even know where Aleppo was, sort of like Gary Johnson. So
I mean, he's already talked about it this last week on doing that, so he hasn't actually put anything into terms yet.
Right.
Another one of the things is a hiring freeze on all federal employees, which he's already put on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to just reduce the federal workplace to attrition to see what they don't need and what they do need. So it's just kind of a test.
So for the listeners and viewers, when he's cutting federal jobs, it's cutting all the ones. It's cutting the fat. All the ones that are just taking up space and not really doing anything. I saw one of my buddies post on Facebook a while ago. I can't believe he's cutting the jobs. I thought he was supposed to be a job creator person, type person, and it's just cutting the fat. All the jobs that aren't necessary, you get rid of them. Because now they're just taking up and absorbing money, and we can use that money somewhere else. Yeah, it sort of sucks they got laid off per se, but within the federal government and jobs within the government, you just get bounced around pretty much, to another spot. So
next thing is every time a new federal regulation is put on, 2 existing regulations have to be eliminated.
Elaborate on it, because this is key.
So every time a federal entity puts a new rule on their company, that company now has to take 2 rules off.
Right.
And he's already enacted that one. I think that was one of the first ones he put in. Another one that he's working on right now is a 5-year ban on White House officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the government service. So
that's also important. It's like you can't go and turn around and try to impose something else into the White House.
It's like if you're a congressman and you just leave your office, you can't just join the oil company that gave you $10 million to pass whatever they wanted.
Right,
So-
and then try to lobby for the White House. Hey, I got some clout,
Yeah, I got some
That'll
clout with the oil company.
That'll
Right.
keep the corruption down to a little bit. Because it's collusion, corruption. It's just, old boy network to the extreme.
Exactly.
And then his sixth thing for just the special interest in Washington, D.C. is a complete ban on foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections. So no more foreign money in American elections.
No, it's just great, man.
So,
You know?
I mean, the whole thing with like the Clinton,
The
Clinton
the
Yeah, I was
Foundation.
going to say, didn't we
Foundation,
already
yeah.
we already accomplished no foreign money in campaigning once Hillary lost?
I mean that. What a hit did that foundation take?
Yeah, I don't think they've taken in $10 since she lost. I want to catch with it. I got an update here on something we've
yeah.
talked about previously in
Yeah,
weeks.
that was just a short list of just some things he wants to do with DC.
Well,
Very short list. By
He's
the
going
way.
at the speed of Trump, as I've heard. He's like lightning. The guy's not going to slow down. I don't think he's slept since he.
And he's been fought every single day.
Every step of the way, he's in a fight. This is about, and we all remember our good friend Chelsea Manning, or better known as Bradley Manning, as I like to call him, because I'm not buying into the Chelsea Manning thing. This is the soldier that was his sentence was commuted
Right.
by Obama. This is the guy who gave away all the
Secrets.
thousands of documents to Snowden.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, apparently his family has started a GoFundMe campaign to, as it was put, to help the 29-year-old transgender woman who was previously sentenced to 35 years in prison. Just basically, they want to raise some money to help her with her living expenses so that she can safely transition into the free world. So the funds will be used to pay for her rent, his rent, utilities, healthcare, clothing. Let her grow her hair. See, I'm very confused with the whole thing. I'm almost as confused
very
as Chelsea
confusing.
is about
it's
all
very
this.
confusing.
Yeah, but so I think that this is very. I don't know. This personally offends me that this traitor who gave away secrets. I mean, he was in the military. You're not supposed to give you, no matter what your political affiliation.
Right.
He said, I'm working in this sensitive area. I won't give away secrets, and then he did it. Then he went to prison. Then he gets out early, and now they're trying to fund his makeup and his living expenses.
The
This
quote
offends
unquote
me.
lifestyle. Yeah.
This offends me from beginning to end. And if it was anybody else, they'd still be in prison.
I don't know how many rules you have in Canada about this, but would you like to exaggerate on this kind of issue?
I don't know much about that stuff. I'm a working guy, sorry.
No, that's all.
Nobody
You know,
funds me.
You're too busy earning a living to worry about Chelsea Manning's hairstyle.
Or
His.
Caitlyn Jenner?
Or I just don't care.
Or
A little bit of that too. But yeah, so far the fund has raised $25,000. $20,000 of it was in one day. So, yeah,
Hey,
I'm.
somebody fund me $1 million.
Yeah, right. Just
Yeah.
for anything.
I want to have hair.
You can get the hair transplant.
Snowden,
or the
Snowden
wig or
had said
something.
that Snowden thanked Obama and that Chelsea had a good heart, or Bradley, or whoever that person is, has a good heart. Trump, however, said was amongst those who decisively disagreed with Obama's pardon, blasting Manning as an ungrateful traitor who should never have been released from prison. And I agree with him 100%.
Right, exactly.
The guy, she, he, they, whoever they are, should rot in jail
So what do
forever.
what do you think about Snowden then when he released the NSA stuff?
Okay, he doesn't qualify as a whistleblower to me because he worked for the department and he signed statements that he wouldn't. You know, that if you've ever had a security clearance, it doesn't matter how you feel. You've signed a document stating that you'll uphold your obligation to keep things secret. Now, granted, some of the stuff he told us, maybe it's good to know, but I don't know. That's that weird gray area.
It's I think it comes down to your morals. Because that's what ultimately it came down to. You know, the government spying on everybody. It's
That's all he released pretty much, is the government's watching everything you do.
right.
Yeah,
and so, good.
But it's. I mean, if it had been a civilian contractor who wasn't really part of the apparatus, who had just
Like
stumbled.
Assange.
Yeah, see, Julian Assange, I don't blame him because he's just a conduit.
Right.
He's not the one who he might be releasing documents that they don't want us to know, but he's not the one who stole them.
Right.
That's the difference. Snowden stole them. Bradley stole them.
Right, exactly.
I have a question.
Sure.
So if anybody knows what's out in Area 51, call 702-650-5588. I really want to know what's out in Area 51.
It's
No.
aliens.
No. Good. It's a lot of experimental weapons testing. That's what they say. So
I'm guessing that's the technology place, but
yeah, you know.
they don't guard it that heavily for no reason.
But it said also it moved to some other base. So
Well, it's like a quarter of Nevada, so
yeah, it takes up a chunk.
I have no comment.
just don't drive
Right.
out there.
I've been out there.
I know we didn't cover a
Until
lot
you
of
get the cars
things.
that come at you.
We had technical difficulties with the static for those on radio and on Facebook. We do apologize for that. So hopefully next week we can get it fixed. Again, thank you, Barry, for coming out and joining us on the stand today. I really appreciate it. Awesome place, folks. Go check them out.
You gotta go.
You gotta go
Absolutely.
Show us your axe.
At Pecos and Post.
Pecos and Post. So again, continue to take the stand for liberty, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we need your support. We need your prayers as well. And I don't know what else to say because it's just while this is we try to inform people and wake them up. It also is a great stress release for me, because I can get up here and talk about the issues that are really out there, and I really appreciate the station for having us on. It takes, I know some things is very controversial, I guess, but it is what it is. And so, again, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Take the stand for liberty, and God bless you. God bless America.
Good evening, everyone.
Good night. That went well, I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't get to use my radio.
I know, man. I thought you were
using
going
it
to
the
drop
whole
it.
time, by the way. It's hot in here.
How many listeners do we have? How do we find that out?
Well, we can't find out
Nobody
from the
called
show.
in? Like, seriously, I was really hoping somebody called in.
Usually you get at least
One or two.
Yeah.
one or two.
I was waiting for something to show up here, nothing did. I was going
He did have something click up, but I think he might have just talked to him.
Oh, jeez, man. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Again, we need your support, so share, like us. That's the only way we're going to grow. That's the only way we're going to get out.
Is that yours?
So, yeah, I'll take it. So join us next week. Same time, same bat channel. And we're done. And we're done.